Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video. And in today's video, we're talking about treasure map Frankie, the summertime treasure map that will be arriving on OPTC in probably about a day's time from this video actually going live. And in today's video, I'm sort of just going to break down my particular teams that I'll be using against Frankie. Now, if you didn't check out the Sugo summons, I'll leave a link in the description below. We're basically going to break down what each event actually does. Hopefully talk about some replacement options, but unfortunately, I just don't have the time right now to sit down and do like an accessible teams sort of video for you guys. I've got a lot of work on. I've been playing a lot of other games. I've been doing a lot of other stuff, and I do apologize. But I will leave links in the description for stuff like Cowboy. I know the Broski Toski always does some free-to-play stuff for you guys. But hopefully my teams will give you guys some insight on some good options for each fight. Getting it done quickly. Now, obviously, I like to run speed teams. If you guys don't want to use gems in Treasure Map and you have the time, just fill your teams out with the recommended characters or the highest point boosters, provided you actually have them. Now, ideally, you want to use your highest points for stuff like Hancock or Frankie, as they are going to give you the most points. And the idea of running fast teams is to actually get the nav levels higher so you get more points from those particular fights. So, we are running some pretty fast teams in today's video. Huge shout out to my boy Sim who helped me out on stream the other day. Because like I said, I'm super busy at the moment, and unfortunately, I just don't have the time to sort of just sit down and crunch this treasure map. But hopefully, some of the other content creators have got you guys back. But if you enjoy the video, if my teams do help you out, make sure to belt the like button for me if you're new. Hit that big red subscribe button. With that said, let's take a look at the teams. Alright, so as always, huge shout out to the treasure map planner. Link will be in the description as always. If you guys want to build your teams, like if you're on PC, like this is the best way to do it. Shows you what all the boosters are, shows you how many points they are, and if you click on the actual mini-boss, it'll bring up what they actually do. So the first mini-boss is actually Carrot. Now, the recommended characters for this fight, I think, are like something like the free-to-play Straw Hats, the Sanji, and stuff like that. They usually are, but with this sort of scaling now, starting at 1.2 million HP, and not really knowing like what the scaling looks like, it is a little bit challenging to run stuff like buggy teams, but I do know a lot of people like to still do it. You can use stuff like Corazon, V2 Shiroshi Mancherry, get those overhealing abilities, and then just sort of just like use Big Mom to just sort of destroy the final stage, and that way you can run double buggy. This fight is actually a little bit annoying. All characters get 5 turns of cooldowns. She clears the buffs at the start of the turn, and then you get 2 turns of reducing, you get 2 turns of silence, which is special bind. Then there's 1 turn of hunger, or 1 stack of hunger, and then 3 turns of a 90% attack down if your chain is below 2.3 times. There's also 99 turns of defense down immunity as well. So pretty annoying stuff when it comes to this Carrot fight. So the team that I put together here is actually utilizing Bon Clay as captain. Running Bon Clay as captain is really nice because he's obviously a rainbow captain, but he's super type actually gives a chain lock, which will actually get us above this 2.3 very, very easily. Now, I think they really want you to use Marco here. Eventually, I'll probably run Marco as my captain. That should work out very nicely, but you do get 1 turn of Fear here as well, which is very annoying for most free-to-play characters. Now, I do think the free-to-play Straw Hats actually have Limit Break expansions that might have Fear removal, but for this particular team, I'm actually using the support of Sabo on Luffy. That's the big way that I'm getting around this particular fight. Utilizing that support on the final stage removes 2 turns of Special Bind, which is very, very nice to have. We have Zoro here as our wave clearer. Awesome wave clearing unit. And then Katakuri just here for points. Honestly, in the early stages, you might be able to just like pop Katakuri if you do enough damage on... also, if you take damage, that's right. If you take damage, Katakuri works. But you also have Marco for the early stages as well. You have an attack boost with this team. You have a chain lock. You have base stats and stuff. And with the Flampe support, we actually have an orb boost as well. If you guys have any ideas of how to make the team faster, please let me know in the comment section below. This particular team is the one that I kind of struggled with to actually get the fastest like outcome. I did think of using Marco, but Marco's super type is actually quite slow because it gives cooldowns. So you can use the super type of Marco. It'll auto-trigger the special on turn 2. You get like 2 stage wipes and you're pretty much good to go. So later down the line, I will look at using that option once the HP gets a little bit higher and I have to use specials anyway. But Marco, he's just a little bit slow. However, he is a bit of a brain-dead option. So, Carrot fight is not that challenging, but it's definitely a step up from what we used to in those first fights. On to Caulifla now. She is a Psy unit, and your Driven, Powerhouse, and Shooter characters get cooldowns. She has 1.8 million HP, and then obviously the scaling is quite crazy. 6,000 attack, and on Preemptive, she gives Poison and Block Orbs, but she does not give Poison. So you can't use supports to get around this. Very important that you guys are aware of that. 5 turns of your middle and bottom row getting... special sealed, And then there's 5 turns of defense up, which is a 3,000 defense, which is huge. There's also resilience, and there's a 1 turn 30 times hit barrier, which is very, very frustrating. There's also defense down immunity, which is a little bit annoying. But the thing is, you can actually poison here. So the recommended characters are actually this Moria, the Gecko Moria that was the free-to-play unit for the last treasure map. However, if you guys are running more free-to-play friendly teams where you don't have stuff like the boosters, you probably want to bring Moria on these fights over here. However, for this team, you don't really need Moria per se. Moria is really good, though, because he can actually give a base stat boost and a chain boost, which is very, very nice, and he can remove the resilience. However, with this unit here being Magellan and Hannibal, the other free-to-play unit, the Kazuna Clash unit, they actually poison, so that way you'll get around the resilience that way. You can reduce attack down by 5 turns. You get a conditional boost as well with them, which is very, very nice. Your captain just needs to be driven and striker. And of course, our captain is the man, the myth, the legend, Don Quixote do Flamingo. This man is like still one of my favorite units in the entire game. Really good for speed running treasure map as well, because his super class is very fast. He gives himself cooldowns as well, which is great as like a limit break ability. But his super class will just basically wave clear the first 2 stages for you. And as a captain, he actually removes special bind, which you need to get around 5 turns of special bind as well, which is very, 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 very handy. The big downside to this team is obviously getting around the block orbs and the poison orbs. We have Shiryu here. Shiryu can actually get around the poison because he removes poison completely. He's also a color affinity booster. He's a free-to-play unit. He works quite nicely. And then we've just got Kaido here. Basically, Kaido's just here to give the super class to Doflamingo. The downside to this team is we don't have a way around the barrier. However, I'm really hoping that this Magellan Hannibal might have barrier pen or something like that. Because like the barrier is just going to be a little bit of a nightmare to get around. However, there might be a way to get around the barriers there. Moria's, he's not essential in this team. You could easily bring someone to get around the barrier. I think there was is it the other Moria? I swear the other Moria actually moves barriers, but we'll have to have a look at that. Alright, so the Magellan and Hannibal actually removes 1 turn of barrier, so don't even sweat. Like, you don't even need to worry about the barrier. Magellan and Hannibal's got your back. On to Nami now, the Strength Nami. She gives a preemptive 5 turns of cooldowns to Powerhouse, Cerebrals, and Striker units. There's 1.8 million HP with Nami, 6,000 attack. You get full board of empty block and bomb orbs, 8 turns of paralysis, 5 turns of chain coefficient reduction at 0.1, which is very, very low. 1 turn of damage null, as well as there's 99 turns of normal attacks only, and defense down immunity, which is just very, very annoying for a unit that has damage null. However, they kind of do want you to bring, I think Jack's recommended for this fight, and also Black Maria. The idea of Black Maria being boosted is to get around this paralysis. However, there are 2 other units that are boosted on this list, as a captain can remove paralysis, and for my team, I'm actually using Trafalgar Law. Law can remove paralysis, he can give you that chain boundary effect, and with 2 of them, you have an attack boost and you have an orb boost, and then with Beppo, you have a full board of orbs and you're basically covered. To do the wave clearing shenanigans, we have Daifuku here. Daifuku's got a really, really low cooldown, especially with Limit Break Expansion. Luffy's our color affinity booster, he can actually rotate orbs as well, which is very, very nice. And then finally, we've got Carrot and Wanda. Now, Carrot and Wanda, with their special, they give an orb boost, and with their switch, they give a 2 times attack boost. So, ideally, what I'm thinking of doing here is just switching into Carrot, who it's the color affinity, has the color affinity, using Beppo to give myself a full board of odds and a chain boost, and then basically just 2-tapping here, because Carrot and Wanda with their special actually let them ignore defensive effects like barriers and damage nullification. However, once that starts to get a little bit much, we do have the unit that is Jack up here. You can easily just bring Jack down, chuck him on the team, and he removes 1 turn of damage null. Another option for you guys, Izo and Kiku. They are an option for your captain if you need to get around that 8 turns of paralysis. 8 turns is a lot, so even if you bring a friend captain Law, or you bring a friend captain Izu, and then sort of build your team out that way, that should work absolutely hunky-dory as well. But this team, honestly, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty fine. It looks pretty dandy. There's a lot of damage here. We've got chain boundaries. We've got orb boosts. We've got attack boosts. Big. We got super tandem here as well, because we actually have 4 cerebral characters. So it doesn't even matter if you have a level 1 Law. For me, my Law's level 4, so he's going to be popping off with, like, the free spirits as well, so Luffy works out quite nicely here. But I thought I would just chuck a free-to-play option on the team as well, just to sort of show you guys that free-to-play options are just still really, really good in this game, and it's a big reason why I really enjoy OPTC. It makes the grinding of these characters actually worthwhile, because they do have uses in future content. Next, we look at Robin. Robin's an interesting one. She's a Dex character, and her preemptives gives 5 turns of cooldowns to Strength, Dex, and Quick characters. She has 1.8 million HP, so she is the strongest of the mini-bosses, and she has 6,000 attack. Obviously, that will scale. You get 8 turns of Despair, remember, and Bind on your top row. So just remember, that will go down to 5 turns. Now, because you actually get Despaired, I'm actually looking at this team now, and I actually don't think it's going to work. Huge shout out to my boy Sim. He had the idea of utilizing Yamato and Ace, but you actually get Despaired, which means you actually going to lose your captain ability, so you're not actually going to get the bind, which is a little bit annoying. I have to let him know about that one. 5 turns of attack down, 3 turns of your chain. 99. Wow, words are hard. 90% attack down with a 3.5 times chain. Less than a 3.5 times chain. So you need like a chain locker that'll give you a 3.5 times chain lock, basically, or a chain boundary that'll get you higher than that. It's 5 turns of damage reduction, which is super, super nice. And then there's delay immunity. Now, as this was the team that Tim sort of put to me, and honestly, it would be faster because the boosted units are actually ulti and page 1. They're the recommended characters. So the idea here was to use bind removal with Ace Yamato, and then this Morley can actually just remove everything. So it's good to note as well, like this Morley will remove like basically everything except for the bind. You just basically need to bring a bind remover. You have the percent damage reduction, the attack down, Despair, chain coefficient reduction, and it all works out pretty hunky-dory, right? However, because you get Despaired, you are going to be stuck there. You do have the support of, you can use Sabo as a chain locker, starting at 3 times and then using a support to get to like 3.5. So this team would work very nicely, but I just don't think the Despair is going to cut it. So I'm going to go back to my original team. When you see a Dex boss like Robin, I just immediately think of the Beast Pirates. The Beast Pirates have the fastest switch to actually give themselves cooldown. You can switch into the strength variation, and it'll all work out real hunky-dory. Obviously, ulti, page 1, they're the recommended characters for this fight. If you didn't do summons, like, I totally understand. If you have that Morley, as I mentioned, this Morley is just a really, really good option if you guys don't have the page 1 ulti and you've done some summons on the treasure map banners. For stuff like Anniversary or something like that, to get around the bind, though, you'll have to find another option. You could probably even use, like, I don't know, Toki or something like that. Use the Toki ability, because Toki has that crazy cooldowns. If you're using wave clearing shenanigans with the special anyway, you're going to get, like her super type, and it's going to be super fast that way. And that should work fairly nicely. To get around the chain lock shenanigans, I'm actually just bringing X-Drake, the Kazuna Legend. The idea here is to use like ulti, page 1, and then X-Drake, and with the support of Dofi, we're starting at a 3.5 times chain lock. Kid is literally just here for literally just points. He's no other real reason he's here. You could put another strength character on here if you really want to. But he's a 1.35 times booster, and I thought, like, hey, let's put him on here just to find a home. You could also use something like, I don't know, Blackbeard as your chain boundary unit. You could use him as your captain. But remember, you're only getting strength, dex, and quick characters with their cooldowns anyway. But with this team, you have color affinity, you have a conditional boost as well, because you can set defense low, attack boost, chain boundary, and then you could easily just chuck a color affinity booster here instead of Kid if you really, really want to. That should work out fine. The Kid is also chain boundary shenanigans. He's also an orb booster. However, I just don't think you'll get his cooldowns. Maybe with the double Kaido lead, as well as the sockets, the ship, and the specials of the Kaido's lead performance, you might get their cooldown, like Kid's cooldowns. But, like, nevertheless, he's kind of just here for points anyway. On to the Hancock fight now, which is the big boss that you'll be fighting at the final stage. She's a little bit annoying. She's a quick unit. She gives 5 turns of cooldowns to fighters, strikers, and cerebral characters. You get a full board of block orbs on stage 2. 5 turns of attack down at 90%. 5 turns of special bind onto your middle and bottom row. There's 1 turn of damage null. However, the damage null is only for strength, quick, and int units. So, if you are bringing those colors, they're the only ones that won't do damage. You can still bring other characters that will still do damage, like your Sai and your Dex characters, which is what this whole fight's sort of built around. There's 3 turns of a 2 times barrier for perfects, so you got to hit 2 perfects to break the barrier. And there's 99 turns of defense down immunity, so it's super, super annoying. The character that's really good for this is the Robin. The summonable Robin is actually ridiculously good for this fight. She not only removes the special binds, but she also removes the attack down, and she rotates the block orbs. So, like, she just does so much of that fight that it's not even funny. And then on the final stage, she has a sailor ability that makes in orbs beneficial, which is just insane. On the final stage, she gets Hancock. There's 8 turns of bind on your left-hand side, which will go down to 5. 12 turns. White 12 turns is huge. At a 1.1 chain growth, 5 turns of paralysis to your right-hand side. It's harder to hit perfects for 99 plus turns. There's 3 turns of a 2 perfect hit barrier now. And then there's still 99 turns of defense down, which is just very, very annoying. Now, with my team, I am using Who's Who as my captain with a friend Nami. I actually managed to pull Nami as well, and then I have the 2 other Toby Ropo units here. The big thing that you really want to get around here is like replacing Robin for this fight right here. You want like someone that can do all this attack down and stuff like that. But as you can see, there ain't anyone else that can do what Robin can do except for this buggy actually. But you do need 5 turns of all that sort of stuff, which is a little bit annoying. To get around the damage null, we're basically just not, like, we're just starting our chain with Who's Who and Black Maria. We have Nami special on this stage as well, so we also have, like, an attack boost, as well as, Robin here to give us a, orb boost, I think Robin does. One of them's an orb booster, one of them's an attack booster, so we'll have them on that stage. And then once we get the chain coefficient reduction on this preemptive, we actually have the support of Croc to give us a chain boundary, which is super, super nice. And then with Who's Who, we're giving a 1.6, so we're starting at a 3.6 chain boundary, I'm pretty sure. We have base stats with Sasaki, as well as a orb boost with Black Maria. We have the other Nami special as well, which is super nice. And on the final stage, we get a full board of orbs. We remove the paralysis thanks to Nami special. As well as removing the bind on the left-hand column. So we actually need to do that. Like, that's actually super important. Otherwise, we won't be able to remove the bind. So the team's meant to look a little bit like this. Black Maria, she's kind of replaceable in this team. You don't really need her. I've just got her because she gives lots and lots of points. I didn't pull the chopper, so I did need another spot for this particular team. As I mentioned, to like get this team to function for stage 2 is like the big thing here. You can bring Odin. Odin's a good barrier remover for this particular stage, or the final stage, sorry. And to get around the perfects, harder to hit perfects, you could easily use something like the Shark Superb, or you could even use something like the Zunesha as well. Remember, on this turn, you're not, like, if you bring strength and quick characters, they're not doing damage anyway, so you can actually use them to break the barrier. Same with down here, like, they're not doing too much for you there. Remember, Nami as well, if you are bringing friend captain Nami, she's only boosting Dex and Psi characters as well. So you do want to attack with them last, and that's why Sasaki here is really, really good. As I mentioned, the Odin, really, really good option. The Roger, really, really good option. This Roger is really good, because I'm pretty sure Nami's actually a free spirit character as well. So, if you're looking for a more free-to-play centric team, like, Roger's probably going to be the man, the myth, the legend for you. As for Frankie, the intrusion fight, it gets a little bit annoying with Frankie because he can either be Dex or he can be Int. On stage 1, you get 5 turns of cooldown, so your fighters, free spirits, and powerhouse. Now remember, you can bring any character you like here because it is the intrusion. On stage 2, there's 2 million HP, 6,600 attack. The strongest fight in the actual event because it's all based around Frankie anyway. 6 turns of bind to your middle and bottom row, which will go down to 3, by the way. So you could probably use like a support to get around this because it's only 3 turns of bind after sockets, which is not too bad. But with a friend captain Nami, you can actually use the Nami to get around that as well. 99 turns of defense down, as well as 5 turns of badly matching orbs being strength, dex, and quick, which is just very, very annoying. On death, there's 100% heal, because he'll like run away. And he'll actually do 100,000 attack damage. Now, I'm assuming that this means, like, he'll heal up. Like, this will be Frankie fight. And then, like, he'll heal up. He'll do the damage. And then you'll go into stage 3. I don't think there'll be, like, a revive where you have to attack him again. Like, on the revive. I think he'll just run away, which is super nice. On stage 3 against Frankie, he's got 3.5 million HP and 9,600 attack. Stupid amount of HP to start with. He turns into a quick on int unit. He gives you a full board of block orbs. 8 turns of attack down by 90%. However, it's only for strength, quick, and int. Very similar to that damage null being for these 3 colors. So if you build your team out with Psi and Dex characters, you actually don't even need to worry about this. Like, you can just ignore it completely. 5 turns of special bind, 5 turns of paralysis, 2 stacks of hunger, and 99 turns of defense down immunity. So you want to bring someone to get around paralysis, you want to bring someone to get around special bind, and as I mentioned, if you guys are using these planner, you can always just click on these buttons here. It will show you what characters are actually boosted, what ones actually remove that attack down, and what removes the paralysis. The Morley's going to be really, really good here. Roger, Odin, those types of characters as your captains, and your sailors are going to be really good. But the problem here is there is hunger. Stacking hunger on these fights is actually really annoying Because, like, hunger is a very pay-to-play ability. There's not a lot of free-to-play characters that actually have hunger removal. But if you have a look at these 1.25 times boosters, this is going to be the best place to look for them. This Sabo might have hunger removal. And if he does, you probably want to bring him. Treasure Map Croc definitely does. And the character that I'm using being Bon Clay, he definitely does as well. So, Bon Clay is going to be my captain. The beautiful thing about Bon Clay is he can actually give you a full board of... what's it called? He gives you a full board of recovery orbs. So you don't have to worry about this badly matching orb shenanigan stuff. Again, Sasuke and Who's Who are here for like chain boost and color affinity, as well as attack boost and base stat boost. But Robin's basically getting around everything I need to here with the special bind removal and the attack down removal. However, it's 8 turns, but I'm just not even worrying about it, to be honest, because like I don't even care if Who's Who hits hard. The paralysis gets removed thanks to Nami, and then the hunger will get removed thanks to what's his name? Bon Clay as well. So the team should work fairly fine. It just sort of depends on how this stage is going to go because of this. This is the most annoying part of this entire fight. Is actually getting the strength decks and quick orbs is unfavorable. I don't think that you rotate orbs at all. So even if you use Nami on stage 2, you aren't going to have that sort of nice effect. You could bring someone that could like make benefit. Oh, actually, no, you can't because like this preemptive doesn't do anything. Like that runs away. You can't even use the special on turn 1. So that's a little bit annoying as well. Remember, there is death damage as well. So, like, you'd probably want to bring someone that can tank 100,000, which is a lot. And it is on stage 2, so you can't even use stuff like Mr. 3 shenanigans. For me, I'm using Sasaki. He reduces damage by 90%, and then gives the 3 turns of the base stat boost, which is super, super nice. But there are some other characters up here that can actually work very, very nicely to actually get around all of those, like, nasty effects. Like I said, huge shout out once again to the Treasure Map Planner. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sort of rambled on a little bit at the end there, so I do apologize. And I do apologize that there's no, like, accessible teams here. I'll leave a picture at the end, as always, and a link in the description for this particular website. Make sure to go check them out, send them some love if you guys are using them. But if you did enjoy the video, make sure to bell the like button. If you're new, hit that big red subscribe button. Most importantly, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later!